Hello friends, welcome to Knowledge House. Right now we will be analyzing today's The Hindu newspaper, that is of dated 26th of July. So while analyzing we will be giving more importance to articles that are important from a UPSC civil service exam perspective. So I welcome you all to this video and let's start. So the first article that we are going to analyze is regarding the truckers strike. So the article is titled Nationwide Trucker Strike Hurting the Manufacturing Sector. So the 6-day-old indefinite strike by the transporters across the country has pushed up the prices of vegetables and fruits and started impacting the factory operations at some places, according to the traders and industry associations. So they are the organization, that is the truckers organization, complains that they are harassed by the government officials and government must look into their grievances, and the government is fully aware of their problems of the transporters but does not want to listen. So what are their demands? What is the reason behind this strike? So All India Motor Transport Congress started the nationwide strike. That is, All India Motor Transport Congress started the nationwide strike on 20th of July. Their demands include reduction in the central and state taxes by getting diesel under the GST. So first is to get diesel under GST, and so that the prices of the deregulated commodity can be reduced. So the key reason behind their demand, the first demand, that is to include a reduction in the central and state taxes by getting diesel under the GST, so that the deregulated commodity can be reduced. And the second one, that is, apart from demanding reduction in fuel prices, truckers are also against the flawed and non-transparent toll collection system that favors road concessionaires and allege that the time and the fuel loss goes up to 1.5 trillion annually on account of it. So these are the key demands of this demand. These are the key demands behind this particular strike. So that's all about this particular article. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding the publishers, the publishing industry. So this article says that the publishers are skeptical over the GST relief. So the GST Council recently announced some relief for publishers in the form of reduction in GST on ebook sales from 18 to 5%. This reduction is applicable only to books that have a print version as well. So there has been a reduction in GST on ebook sales from 18 to 5%, and this reduction is applicable only to books that have a print version as well. So the publishers industry body says that it would have made more sense if, rather than the draconian 12% new GST levied on royalties, so the 12% GST that is levied on royalties have been abolished, and the 12% GST on printing material was reduced back to 5%. So I'll repeat it once again. The industry body of publishers may have expressed that it would have been more sense if if there was a if the rather draconian 12% GST levied on royalties, that is 12% GST levied on royalties, have been abolished, and 12% GST on the printing material was reduced back to 5%. Both have come as a double whammy and have raised the cost for publishers with no respite, as the input tax credit is not available for books because books are GST exempt. That's what the publisher says. So that's all about this particular article. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding the privilege motion, and my sole intention behind analyzing this article, which is a purely political news, my sole intention is to make you all listeners aware of what exactly is privilege motion. So parliamentary privileges are certain rights and immunities enjoyed by the members of the parliament individually and collectively, so that they can effectively discharge their functions. When any of these rights and immunities are disregarded, the offence is called breach of privilege and is punishable under law of parliament. A notice is moved in the form of a motion by any member of either house against those being guilty of breach of privilege. Each house also claims the right to punish as contempt action, which, while not breach of any specific privilege, are offences against its authority and dignity. So what are the rules governing the privilege? So rule 222 in the chapter 20 of the Lok Sabha rule book and corresponding rule 187 of the chapter 16 of the Rajya Sabha rule book governs privilege. It says that a member may, with the consent of the speaker or the chairperson, raise a question involving a breach of privilege either of a member of the house or of the committee thereof. The rules, however, mandate that any notice should be relating to an incident of the recent occurrence and should need the intervention of the House. Notices have to be given before 10 a.m. to the Speaker or the Chairperson. So, what is the role of the Speaker here? The Speaker or the Rajya Sabha Chairperson is the first level of scrutiny of the privilege motion, and the Speaker or the Chair can decide on the privilege motion himself or herself or refer to it to the Privileges Committee of the Parliament. If the speaker gives consent under the Rule 22, the members concerned is given an opportunity to make a short statement. So, what percentage of privileges motion are rejected? A large number of notices are rejected with the penal action recommended only in a few. In most significant case was in 1978 when Indira Gandhi, who had just won the Lok Sabha election from Chikmagalur, was expelled from the house. Then Home Minister Charan Singh moved a resolution of breach of privilege against her following the observations made by Justice Shah Commission, which probed excesses during emergency. Another case was expulsion of Subramaniam Swamy from the Rajya Sabha in 1976. Anyway, this is all political, alright. There is no much attention to be given to the politics behind it. So, what is privileges committee? So, in the Lok Sabha, Speaker nominates a committee of privileges consisting of 15 members as per the respective party strength. A report is then presented to the House for its consideration, and the Speaker may permit a half-hour debate while considering the report. A speaker may then pass the final orders or direct that the report be tabled before the House. A resolution may be then moved relating to the breach of privilege that has to be unanimously passed. So that's all about this. That's all important about this particular article. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding VVPAT, that is voter verified paper audit trail. So Election Commission has said that VVPAT machines will be ready for Lok Sabha polls. And I hope you all are aware of what exactly this is. So, as a result of the series of elections where the NDA won a series of elections at various states, and it was alleged that the electronic voting machine has been rugged with. So, in order to rectify if any such problem exists, Election Commission has said that they will introduce VVPAT so that the voter then and there while at the election booth he can confirm that his vote is registered to the right party. So that's all about this particular article. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding the scheme. It is regarding a Supreme Court comment. So Supreme Court has said that a scheme must cover child abuse victims. So the Supreme Court on Wednesday said that the government scheme for rape survivors should include the child victims of sexual assault. So, the senior advocate Indira Jaising, who has lent her expertise in the case of uniform compensation for rape survivors and voiced concerns about the dormant Nirbhaya funds, said saying that the scheme should be a source of financial solace for the victims of sexual crimes and acid attacks during the court trial. She said she would also address the aspect relating to Section 228A of the IPC, which deals with disclosure of the identity of the victim of sexual offences. The scheme proposes a uniform payment of rupees 5 lakh to the maximum of rupees 10 lakh to gang rape survivors in any part of the country. Similarly, in the case of rape and unnatural sexual assault, the victim will be entitled to get a minimum of 4 lakh and the maximum of 7 lakh. So that's all about this particular article. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding the NRC. So a series of articles have been coming in the consequent days. I think from 20th onwards, the whole issue of NRC is there in the news, and I have analyzed the whole issue in detail in multiple instances. So this article is titled "It is not straight to detention centers and those for those not in the NRC." So the government has clarified that those whose name does not appear in the final list of the NRC, they will not be immediately detained or they will not be immediately deported or brought to the detention centers, and they will be given a chance to hear. So that's all about this particular article. And the need, the proof of citizenship, that is the key requirement here. So a lowdown on the national register for citizens is this particular thing. So the whole exercise is aimed at identifying the illegal immigrants in the state, mostly from Bangladesh. So NRC updation, the process consists of legal, first one is legacy data publication. So what exactly this is legacy data? A database that carrying the names of very large number of persons together, admissible to be included in the NRC for the state of Assam. For this particular thing, one has to prove his or her residence prior to the midnight of March 24, 1971 for inclusion in the NRC. So for the first step is legacy data publication, and I explained what exactly is legacy data. And the second thing is application form distribution and receipt, which is already done away with. And the third part is verification, and the fourth part is the draft NRC publication and receipt of claims and objections, which is currently which also has lapsed. And we are waiting for the last and the final stage, that is final NRC publication. So the draft part of the NRC was published on 31st of December 2017 with the names of around 1.9 crore citizens. The final draft of the NRC will be published on July 30th. So the eligibility criteria for inclusion in the NRC, the first thing is the person should be included in the 1951 census. I repeat, 1951 census, and the persons enrolled in the electoral rolls up to the midnight of March 24, 1971. That is the second eligibility, and that is among the various eligibility conditions. And the third eligibility factor is descendants of the above mentioned persons, that is descendants of either the persons included in 1971 census or the persons included in, enrolled in the electoral rolls up to the midnight of 1971. And the another eligibility criteria is person who came to Assam on or after January 1st of 1966 but before March 25 of 1971 and registered themselves with the FRRO, that is Foreign Registration Regional Officer, and those who have not been declared as illegal immigrants by the authority, and the persons who provide any one of the documents issued up to March 24th of 1971 as mentioned in the list of documents for citizenship. So the exclusion from the NRC does not mean that automatic declaration as a foreigner, and the Home Ministry has said. That's what important to be noted from this article. Anyway, let's wait for the final date of July 30th. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding India-Africa relationship. So recently, there has been a lot of noise, and our PM is in Africa, was in Africa last day, and there has been a lot of noise regarding India's relationship with Africa that often used to be on the lines of the historical relationship, the socio-cultural linkages, and the nationalist movements during the Nehruvian era, and that supported the anti-imperial struggles and the shifting geopolitical with also it has dimensions on non-alignment movement. So beyond this rhetoric, what kept the relationship forward was acquisition of critical assets by the state-owned enterprises and looking to diversify the energy market away from the West Asian nations. So these are the things that always kept India to look towards Africa. So as of now, it is widely said by the experts that we are a latecomer in Africa, because China has already gone to the extent of establishing their first overseas military base in Djibouti. But there are certain factors that keeps the Chinese profile low in Africa. So there are some Kenyan companies have complained that China wasn't relying on them for concrete, but and also China is not employing African citizens, and rather than that, they are bringing their own citizens from China to work in their various kinds of projects. So anyway, let's look let's look how things are going to develop with Africa. So anyway, there is nothing much important to be noted in this article rather than the 10-point guiding principles for deepening engagement. So other than this, there are various concerns that keeps India or that gives India an outside an additional edge when it comes to its relationship with Africa. A unique factor that sets Indian interactions apart is the palpable goodwill for Indian origin people and the sense of familiarity and the cultural connection with Bollywood movies and songs, often acting as a bridge. So this is something really important. So it shows the cultural diplomacy factor and the policy glitches. The when government institutions and businesses working in separate silos, India has no coordinated Africa policy, nor does not seem to have an avenue where the strength of both actors can be leveraged. So, various government initiatives aimed at training and equipping Africa's young demography provides a model that can be replicated by the Indian companies whose ease of technology and human capital transfer are already one of its strengths. So there are large number of students, African students, that are doing education in India. So already there are strong grounds for a well established relationship, but it is only late, it is of late that we are trying to take leverage of this. So that's all about this particular article. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding the trade war that is going on between US and China. So the president of the United States has gone to the extent of calling Chinese trade practices vicious. So that's the title of this article. Anyway, US president has also accused Beijing of manipulating its yuan currency to give its exporters an edge. When it comes to export, I'll repeat the whole thing once again. Trump has gone to the extent of accusing Beijing of manipulating its yuan currency to give its exporters an additional edge. This is a particular charge that was rejected by China. A trade war should be rejected because there will be no winner. That's what the Chinese premier has said at the opening of the BRICS summit of the emerging economies that is going on in South Africa. So, and he also mentioned that unilateralism and protectionism are mounting and dealing a severe blow to multilateralism and multilateral trade regime. That's what he mentioned in the opening address of BRICS summit, and this was done without mentioning the name of United States. So that's all about this particular article. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding EPFO, NIC, NPS subscribers grew in double digits in May. That's what this article is titled. So EPFO refers to Employment Provident Fund, and ESIC refers to Employee State Insurance Corporation, and NPS refers to National Pension Scheme. So the formal employment as measured by the number of subscribers in the EPFO, ESIC and NPS witnessed a double digit growth in May 2018. That's what this article says, according to the official payroll data that is released by Ministry of Statistics. So there are various concerns regarding this, because some months before, even Niti Aayog came up with a conclusion that there has been a tremendous job growth in India. So but there is another section of experts who says the opposite, because the method of looking at EPFO and the similar figures like employees insurance to understand the employment scenario of the country could be better. That's what one section says. According to government's own data, the 3 year of current regime, unemployment has uh, gone up from 6 to 16% from 5%. So clearly, EPFO study contradicts this, as Financial Express report explains. The EPFO's raw data suggests that there are 8.7 crore member accounts, but the author of the report removed 2 crore accounts on finding that the data was incomplete. Further, another 1 crore accounts were removed because they came in via the various amnesty schemes that were given to firms which needed to be deducting the EPFO reduction contributions, but didn't. I'll repeat it once again. The authors of the report removed 2 crore accounts, finding that the data was incomplete, and another 1 crore account was also removed because they came in via various amnesty schemes given to the firms which needed to be deducting EPFO but didn't contribute. And the names were also run through various deduplication software to ensure its uniqueness. However, the study findings tells us that it is time that India overhauled its employment data machinery and moved to an improved payroll reporting. The but the findings need to be seen in the backdrop of two critical factors. First, an EPFO employment mapping doesn't capture the data in the informal sector, given that EPFO doesn't cover them. And the second thing is there is a seeming disconnect with the key macroeconomic numbers what the study has come with. So the only labor data that or the kind of EPFO or the payroll kind of data that is available is published by the Labor Bureau, which is an attached office under the Ministry of Labor and Employment that was set up in 1946. It is entrusted with the compilation, collection, analysis, and dissemination of statistics on different aspects of labor. It has mainly two wings that are stationed at Shimla and Chandigarh. It has 4 regional offices at various parts of India, and the functions or activities of Labor Bureau can be classified into the labor intelligence, labor research, and monitoring and evaluation studies. And that's all important to be noted from this particular article. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding the National Company Law Tribunal. So NCLT orders the liquidation of EPCCs, that is Engineering, Procurement and Construction Company, Jodi Structures. So this particular company has been ordered to liquidate. So NCLT, that is National Company Law Tribunal, this is a quasi judicial body. It can be a prelims question. It's a quasi judicial body in India that adjudicates issues relating to Indian companies. So NCLT was established under the Companies Act of 2013, which was constituted on the 1st of June 2016 by the Government of India, and is based on the recommendation of Justice Iradi Committee on law relating to insolvency and winding up of the companies. So NCLT has 11 benches, 2 at New Delhi and at various parts including Jammu and Kashmir. So currently, it does not include Jammu and Kashmir. The Justice M.M. Kumar, a retired Chief Justice of the Jammu and Kashmir High Court, has been appointed as the president of NCLT. So that's all about this particular article. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding SEBI proposes to use UPI, that is Unified Payment Interface, which is it's a payment system, payment platform using mobile phones. So Unified Payment Interface, the SEBI has proposed allowing investors to use the UPI while bidding for shares in an initial public offer to reduce the public issue timeline from T+6 to T+3. So that's what this article says. So the important thing to be noted here is regarding UPI, that is Unified Payment Interface. It is regulated by the RBI, but it is owned by the National Payment Corporation of India. So this National Payment Corporation of India is it is a not-for-profit organization. It is a not-for-profit independent organization, I repeat. So that's all about this particular article, and let's move on to the next one. It is about the underground lake detected in Mars. So using a radar instrument on an orbiting spacecraft, scientists have spotted what they said on Wednesday appears to be a sizable salt-laden lake under the ice on the southern polar plane of Mars. I'll repeat it once again. Using a radar instrument on an orbiting spacecraft, scientists have spotted what they said on Wednesday appears to be a sizable salt-laden lake under the ice on the southern polar plane of Mars, a body of water that they called a possible habitat of microbial life. So this raises serious questions regarding the probability of that is the chances of survival in Mars. So the researchers have said that this kind of environment is not exactly ideal vacation, or that is for them the vacation means something big, something where we can survive. So but the terrestrial organisms that can survive and thrive in such an environment may not be the right environment for organisms that are in that may be. So that is the microbial life that can be possible in Mars. So there can be serious differences between the characteristics of microbial life in Earth and Mars. So that's all about this particular article. So we have finished analyzing today's newspaper. So thank you very much for watching this video. So for various kinds of PDF, you can log on to our blog, that is www.knowledgehouse.co, and you can also follow us on Telegram. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. And please subscribe our channel if you feel that you must not miss any more updates from us. And we will be uploading more and more interesting and compelling videos. So thank you very much for watching this video once again, and have a very nice day.